The DNC is concluding its delegate voting late today, with Kamala Harris on track to become the party's official nominee. This is the official developments that come after she had passed the number of delegate votes she needed Friday. And it comes as the New York Times is reporting Donald Trump is now shook. Harris is surging in a language that Donald Trump speaks. Big rallies, big ratings, and these gripping, made-for-TV images. The New York Times has this new article out that reflects what's going on in Trump world and will probably be noticed in Trump world. What's rattling Trump? The headline reads, the size of Harris's crowds. Her star turn on the stage across all of national politics and the way she's being received has, quote, unsettled Mr. Trump. And in Washington, there are Republican senators who are speaking anonymously for obvious political reasons, but still who want to share what they see as the concern that Trump has been completely caught, quote, off guard by Kamala Harris's strength. Quote, I think she's more formidable than Republicans give her credit for, says one of these Republican senators. Quote, it's going to be a short election that favors her. It's going to be a sprint that helps her. And this enthusiasm that we're seeing that's been covered here on MSNBC and in local papers and all across the internet, the kind of extravagant, sometimes excitable crowds, is gone beyond just Democrats. It's visible across these events.
If you've got something to say, say it to my face. I know Donald Trump's type.
That's the energy. There are echoes of the early enthusiasm about Barack Obama, and this is what Kamala Harris was doing during those early days, which is back in the news, as we've mentioned, because she and her aides want to rebuild that winning Obama coalition, and it's something that her aides know a lot about. Now, here she was in Iowa in 2007. Here she was a couple of years later at Obama's 50th.
We are here to celebrate our great president's birthday and celebrate and thank God for the day he was born. We are here because we understand that re-electing this great president is about us, it is about our children, it is about our grandparents, it is about our grandchildren, it is about our community, it is about our present, and it is about our future.
That was then. Harris was a supporter who'd gone from the ground field operations of Iowa, as I've told you about how that's relevant, all the way up to becoming a senator eventually. But this was long before vice president, long before she was seriously rumored for the barrier-breaking path she's on today. Harris is now in the position to hire just about whoever she can in the Democratic Party, and that's why it's big news that broke Friday going into the weekend that she's also tapped Obama's victorious campaign manager, David Plouffe. He joins her campaign in a kind of unique role because as the former campaign manager, he can nominally report to anyone, but ultimately is at the top talking to Harris, and his assignment is the campaign's goal, the path to 270, the number of electoral votes you need. She is also reviewing running mate options, speaking to several people over the weekend. As you've heard, we are bracing for that announcement tomorrow with all of the special coverage that you'd expect. Of course, if it leaks out earlier, we'll bring that to you as well, but that is expected to be the big news tomorrow. Now, Harris' campaign is building on momentum as well with virtual rallies and Zooms that have been tapping these different groups and also raising money online. I'm sure you've heard about some of them. These are just a few that we've put on the screen. You can see how big they get. Most of the faces, the majority of thousands of faces, not seen on any single screen. Those are selections. Now the longtime liberal activist and self-identified senior, Jane Fonda, is teaming up with Bernie Sanders and Bette Midler for a special call. It is called Elders for Harris. It's another nod to how the campaign's youth excitement doesn't come at the expense of any other group. Ben Stiller, D.L. Hughley, Jason Bateman are also doing a Comics for Kamala huddle. Now, does this buzz go beyond the activists and donors? Well, new numbers show a 14-point jump. That's 14 points in the jump of black voters who are telling pollsters now they plan to vote as opposed to before when Biden was at the top of the Democratic ticket. Now, that doesn't mean they're all voting only for Kamala Harris, and it doesn't mean she's going to win in November. I've told you we're very careful with what we interpret polls to mean. but it does show a kind of bump in enthusiasm and excitement about the election after Harris announced. Meanwhile, some red-leaning states are back in potential play, according to Axios, citing Georgia, Arizona, and North Carolina as places that at least Trump will have to spend money on defense, which is a shift. Harris is prepping the running mate announcement, while the blowback to J.D. Vance on the Republican side has become something that he has to openly address out loud in interviews.
Some people are saying you were the wrong pick for Trump's running mate. What are you doing about it?
I recognize that there are a lot of folks, even in the GOP establishment, and certainly on the far left, who don't like the fact that Donald Trump picked me.
According to the polls, J.D. Vance is the least liked VP nominee in decades.
I actually take their criticism as a badge of honor.
Well, if criticism is a badge, Vance must be cooking up a special reaction for this new little moment from Nancy Pelosi, who seemed downright giddy about J.D. Vance's baggage for the Republican ticket. This is from her new CBS interview.
Did Donald Trump make a mistake when he chose J.D. Vance?
Oh, I think it was a great choice.
A great choice spoken by the opponent, meaning great for the Democrats, bad for the Republicans. Now, that might be a natural reaction. J.D. Vance has not had the best rollout. It may also be something we see a lot in campaigns and politics, which is projecting strength. But remember, the efforts to project strength, enthusiasm, or other things the Democrats wanted a month or two ago were not working. Now, you don't have to ask Republicans or random independent voters. You could ask the Democratic Party itself, which did something so unusual and extraordinary that everyone is still just taking in the reaction. But it did something that, as you've heard, had never been done this late in a cycle. It basically told the sitting president, thank you, you're great, we love you, quote unquote, is something Speaker Pelosi also said in that interview last night regarding Biden, but we need to make a change as a political party. We are just weeks into the change. So far, it is working by every measurable way that you look at campaigns. The ad spending I mentioned in those normally red states, the crowd sizes that have Trump rattled, the record fundraising numbers that not only smash what the Democrats were doing, but smash all Republican and Trump records. So in all these ways, it's working. But that doesn't mean it's worked yet. There are 90-plus days to go, and there are people around Kamala Harris who are saying the enthusiasm is so good and it's a good problem to have. They want to remind everyone they are still running against the former president who's been up in the polls for a long time. They are still running basically from behind, and on the calendar, on the schedule of who's had time to plan and build field organizations and build networks, well, they're running behind by many, many months.